Welcome to the ESLOL Fluent and Funny podcast, where we prove that humor is the ultimate bridge to connection. We're hanging out with the world's best comedians to find out how they do the hardest thing in any language, in their secondary language. Being funny, being understood, and being themselves. Let's play. So I'm your host, Rebekah, and by day I'm a communication strategist, helping international students and professionals use humor as a soft skill. But here I am just a massive comedy nerd. My courses cover the mechanics, but this show is about the magic, and we're here to explore the unserious and delightful side of English. My first ever guest is Min Lin. She is a hilarious comedian from Taiwan. She's now living and doing stand-up in the U.S., in the Pacific Northwest. She has won comedy awards and lots of hearts with her videos online. I'm such a fan, and I'm so excited to talk to you.
Hi, Rebecca. Hi, everybody at ESLOL. This is my little mini microphone. I'm really excited to be here on this podcast. Yeah.
Well,
This
thank
is
you.
our first podcast together.
First one. I love your microphone.
Yeah.
Does it work?
I give it to all the comedians I like. If I meet them, I suss them out. If I like the vibe, I give them a set of mini
Oh,
microphones.
it's like your own personal trophy you can give to people.
That's right. It's going to be a great show tonight, Rebecca.
Yes, here we go. Bum
Let's
bum
rock
ba-dum,
it.
ba-dum, bum ba-dum. So, my first question, we have to start with your origin story. So, do you remember the specific moment, maybe a conversation or a joke, where you knew you wanted to be a comedian?
Well, that's a great question. I have wanted to be a comedian since I was 13-year-old. I know I look 12. I'm 44-year-old. So in my late 30s, 40s, when I did a lot of therapy for my kids and then for myself, I eventually got to a state where I was fearless, and I decided just do the one thing that's left that was very, very scary. Is the one thing that I thought was close to being a dream, is just to do stand-up comedy. So I did it because that was the one thing I was still afraid to do.
That's incredible. I love the shout out to therapy.
Yeah, it was life-changing. I graduated. Thank you very much. Did 5 years, life-changing stuff. Incredible. My kids are thriving. I'm happy. My husband's happy.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I'm a huge advocate for mental health therapy treatment and just curious, what kind of therapy? Is it like cognitive behavioral or EMDR or
Oh, yeah. Well, mostly was cognitive behavioral. I personally have also done speech therapy when I got diagnosed with ADHD at the ripe age of 41 or 40. So I did speech therapy, and I just spent the whole time kind of convincing my speech therapist that small talk is useless. She's trying to teach me to small talk, and I'm like, no, small talk is a waste of time. Let me tell you why it's a waste of time. Anyway, so most of the therapy that I was talking about that like bravened me was talk therapy. And towards the end, I did do a couple sessions at EMDR
Mhm.
because I read about it in the, what is it, Body Remembers. Anyway, and I was like, this sounds like pseudoscience, but it's actually scientific. So I did that, and it was incredible. So mostly talk therapy and combined with other flavors. But you know
That's
what they
so
say?
awesome.
It
Mhm.
doesn't matter what the modality of it is. It's the relationship, the therapeutic relationship you have with your therapist as the most indicative predictor for improvement.
Yeah, for your success and progress. I love that I like nailed the types right away. I
You
guess two
nailed the
common
type.
ones.
You definitely nailed the type.
I've done speech therapy as well when I was younger, and
You did?
I had quite the
Awesome.
speech impediment when I was a kid.
That's awesome. Tell me about it.
Well, I don't really
If you want.
remember I
Yeah.
don't remember the experience. I never got teased for it. Um, I just remember like, well, I guess they want me to go to speech therapy, and that's fine. I
I
don't know
like
why.
you just slip into a speech impairment.
I think the real problem was I was listening to Adam Sandler all the time, so I was just like, "Oh,
Oh,
hello, what's going on
so
here?"
that so they
They had
thought. Yeah, I think it's just like, I'm really happy that you didn't have stigma attached to it, because I
mm,
think of therapy just it's a tool. If something
yeah.
not working or something is confusing, it's one of the tools. And I really it saddens me when people I know are struggling and they're not willing to use any tools.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's opportunity. I'm kind of like the equivalent to a guy who keeps a garage full of tools. I got,
Yeah.
like, all the therapy tools. I'm like, "Oh, I tried that one, and now I'm doing this one, and now I'm doing this one." It's like a game to me because I love the progress.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. There's a lot of stigma about stuff like this in Taiwan.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, that's same
it's
here, but it's changing slowly. Do you feel like it's changing slowly there too?
slowly,
Mm,
slowly. But I think even in America, we all live in our own bubbles, and I live in Seattle, so is the highest prescription rate for psych meds. So
yeah.
we are well treated, and in general, this city has just a open, just like a there's not as much stigma attached to mental health
Mm,
treatments or mental health in general. But if you if I'm out of Seattle, in a lot of places, I do find people they they don't want to talk about therapy. They don't want to talk about stuff like that. Like there's some distrust about it. But in Taiwan, it's really bad. They don't want to. They don't want to label anything. They don't want to talk about it. Is it changing? Yeah, maybe slowly. I hope it would change faster.
right. Well, you can be the spokesmodel for it.
That's why that's part of why I talk about my diagnosis and stuff, because I got no shame. I got no problem with talking about those things at all. And there's no stigma, and I make it funny, and I want people to just stop thinking it's a big deal in
Yeah,
Taiwan. It's not a big deal. Just you're what you are. Get some tools.
exactly. And if you're a human, you either have something going on or have been through something. So we're all in the same boat, really.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Just but that's how stigma works.
I love hearing that it helped you to go into comedy because I know some people say that you know, it's usually when you're unwell that your comedy can shine, and you're giving like the opposite of that.
Yeah, mental health struggle is rampant among comedians, but I do find that the funniest comedians I enjoy locally and also on the internet or touring comics, the most amazing ones that I really truly enjoy are people who have figured out what they are about. Like they understand the absurdities, they understand their struggle, they understand themselves, and they're not hiding anything. They're just absurdly funny and true and weird and, weird in their own way. So I think if you're a comedian and you are really struggling, therapy is not gonna break your comedy. It's it's gonna
Yeah.
make you more sustainable is what I think.
Sustainable is a good word. Yeah.
Yeah, at least the comedians locally that are working comics professionals, they have no problem talking about therapy or being in recovery.
Yeah.
It's pretty healthy here.
My favorite comedian is Conan O'Brien, and he talks a lot about, I get therapy, you should get therapy, we all need therapy. And I
Yeah,
think, yeah, thank you for saying something. And,
yeah.
uh, and then that's another question I wanted to ask is, who are your favorite comedians or comedy shows?
Oh, my favorite comedian, person that it's my dream to work with is Susan Rice. Susan Rice is a comedian based in Portland, so Pacific Northwest. She is, I don't know how old she is. She's maybe in the 70s. Anyway, look her up. Susan Rice, incredible comedian. And I just love comics with a life that, like, they live a life, you know? She lived a life. I think she took care of her, both her parents, I think, until they like live a long time. And so just, I can't really listen to people who talk about like airport traveling. It's just like, okay. Or like, a father who's always out there. It's like, when I have to go on the road for comedy, I leave my family behind. It's so great. And just like, okay, what a jerk. Because I was a stay-home mom for 10 years. And like I really love comedy from people who have rich life experience, and then they talk about it in a funny way.
Yeah,
Right.
they're going
So
deep.
I love older comics. Oh, maybe that's not respectful. I love comics with a rich life.
Rich
Susan
life.
Rice, you gotta look up
Yes.
Susan Rice. She's incredible.
When someone has that depth to bring into their comedy, you get more out of it.
I get more out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I can think of a few examples. Wanted to ask you, do you feel like your sense of humor is different when you're speaking English and in America versus when you're in Taiwan?
Good question. This is hard to answer because I don't yet do stand-up comedy in my native language. I tried writing some material for that when I went back last year, but the thing is, comedy is so personal. I think comedy requires you to be willing to touch on some part of yourself in that culture that I'm not quite willing to do in Taiwan. There's a reason I left. So, I think my humor is probably the same because I'm just absurd, but because I don't do stand up in Taiwan, in my native language there, I don't have a comparison really. And most of
Yeah.
my 100% my material is in English. You know what, Rebecca? I think I need 5 more years of talk therapy in Mandarin Chinese before before I do stand up in Taiwan in Mandarin Chinese.
Well, if you do go that route, you'll be giving people a great gift to bring your humor back home.
I'm scared, Rebecca. Like, okay, internet have haters.
Mm.
Internet have haters. You just gotta, no, it's a minute number of people, but sometimes amplify on the internet. My people are ultra critical at all levels of society. It's an ultra critical culture,
More than American?
way more than American.
Oh, I didn't know that was
America's
possible.
got nothing on Taiwanese. There's Taiwanese people are really critical. Unless you're a foreigner just visiting, then we're super nice to you. But to our own people, our own family, our own friends, roasting nonstop,
Mm.
meanness. Just so I think I don't need that in my life right now.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. I wanted to ask, what was your English learning experience like?
That's a great question. Everywhere outside of like English speaking countries, say like in Taiwan or I'm sure Japan or Korea, like English is just considered to be such an important a tool. In Taiwan, when I was growing up, English is considered such an important tool for you to open up to open up your access to the world. But nobody speaks English every day to day life. Nobody speaks English. It's just one of the things that is important. So my parents sent me to Sesame Street. It's like a after school cram school, after school English class. And I went for years and I learned absolutely nothing. So I went to Sesame Street English school from, I don't remember how old I was. I don't know, elementary school age for years. And they would promote me every year to the next level. And I learned absolutely nothing. They like to hire foreigners sometimes to like, so they look legit. And anytime the foreigners teacher asked me a question, I basically would just guess, is he saying, how are you? Or what's your name? And then my only answers would be, fine, thank you. And you? Or my name is Megan, which was my given name. So I was just confused for years. I didn't learn anything in the cram school.
What made the shift?
Well, I only learned English later because I wanted to get out of Taiwan. I really needed to leave. So I thought I must learn English. And then I started watching the X Files. And that's how I learned English. I had classes in school, but really how I learned English was I was obsessed with the X Files. And then I would go online on the websites and I will download, print out their dialogues and memorize them and like learn their vocabularies, like extracurricular, like extraterrestrial. Uh, I want to believe. So that's how I learned English is through passion.
That is so clever. And what crime did you commit in Taiwan that you needed to leave?
Oh, I just didn't fit in. I just really did not understand the whole purpose of anything. It was a very regimented way of schooling and culture and values. And it just nothing made sense to me. And I feel like I had to get out of there. And then when I was 40, I got diagnosed with autism. So I was like, oh, you mean I could just stay and not fit in? I would then try everything. I just wouldn't fit in anywhere. Now I fitting everywhere because I don't care anymore. But basically, if I didn't feel like I fit in, and didn't like, I didn't like how regimented it was, and I needed to get out. So I left.
Well, I think you chose the best part of the US to visit, not to visit, to move to, because the Pacific Northwest is full of free thinkers. You mentioned that they can have like seasonal depression and all, but also like really open-minded, fun people at the same time.
Yeah, I love Seattle. Like a lot of times when you make a decision, you don't really know what you're doing. So I applied to a lot of different schools all across America. When I told my parents about all the different places I was thinking about, my dad said, Seattle is closest to Taiwan of all the schools that you're looking at. And so I was like, okay, because it's all the same to me. So basically, that's how I chose Seattle, and I've lived here for 25 years.
25 years, yeah.
Yeah, I love this place. I love Seattle. It's my favorite city.
Yeah, I love it so much too. I'm from Colorado, but I feel like we're kindred spirits in Colorado with Washington and Oregon.
I was just in Colorado. Where are you from in Colorado?
I'm from Pueblo, which is probably not where you went.
I went to Boulder, Fort Collins, and then some mountain towns, Vail, Frisco,
Mm,
Gibson,
yeah,
Georgetown. You close to any of those?
kind of. Pueblo's a little bit further south, and we're not as populated as, Denver. And Boulder and Fort Collins are so great with like bringing in people for the college students. And I studied at Fort Collins.
You did.
Yeah, so I spent 2 years getting my master's in English there. I love it so much. It's, fun, brilliant people from all over the world. And there is such an emphasis in cultural inclusivity. It makes the community thrive. And I lived in Boulder too, and that was also fine. That was fine.
Were there a lot of foreigners in Kabul? Like, how did you get into, you know, teaching English to people who don't speak English growing up?
Well, there aren't a lot of people from, out of the country so much like, Denver. It's a pretty international city. It's our capital in Colorado. But there's a good history and a mix of people because our town was formed because of a steel mill. So both of my grandpas and everybody I know's grandpas came to Pueblo to work at the steel mill. So we have a lot of people with Hispanic backgrounds, Irish, German, Italian, but everyone moved there for working class jobs.
Yeah.
And then I was just obsessed with like newness and meeting people from around the world. Then I went to Fort Collins and studied and insisted on living at the International House there. So I got to have a roommate from Ukraine, a roommate from Indonesia. I'm so lucky because one of my sister-in-laws is from Japan. Now I'm married to a British guy, so it is a global world to me.
It is very international because you made it so.
Yeah, I kind of insisted on it. Another thing is I'm obsessed with comedy and I'm also obsessed with food. So I need the food from everywhere. I have amazing like Mexican food in Pueblo, amazing Italian food there as well, Polish food. Now I'm in England. I love English food. Wish there was a little more variety. That's okay.
You like Doctor Who?
I know it a little bit.
Oh, you haven't watched it?
I I think I've seen an episode.
And your spouse is okay with that?
He hasn't seen any.
What?
I know.
What kind of UK person did you marry?
He knows Harry Potter. It's okay.
Okay, okay. All right, maybe he's a younger maybe you guys are younger. No, but Doctor Who is amazing. Doctor Who is so amazing, so wonderful. And then when we let our kids watch it, it's like a very like a generational,
Yeah, shows like that share culture. I feel like I got so much from British humor. Like, I don't know if you can see my little bear is from Mr. Bean.
Oh yeah.
I just love it.
Do you like what's that? The city a Ministry of City Walk.
Oh, yes, John Cleese. Yes. I watched that, I think, when I was maybe 10 years old, and I was like, well, it doesn't get better than this. These people they get it.
So are you super into British humor? Because that's a different kind of humor.
It
My
is different.
husband loves British humor, but he will watch those like British comedy shows that I just completely I don't get.
Can you give me an example? Because there's such variety.
Like a game show and somebody's hosting and then there's like guests, but those guests are always the same guests. And
Yes.
they will like banter and wittily have punny jokes. It's just all very exotic to me. And
Yeah.
I cannot absorb. I cannot vibrate with the same frequency. I'm not saying it's not funny. It just funny is very personal and I
Yeah.
I cannot access the humor there.
It can be really personal, you're right, and this is a type of comedy show setup that I don't think the US has. It's basically just like a panel of comedians just having banter, and when someone says something really witty, the crowd will laugh, but they'll also all just they really are just like, "Oh, extra brain power, funniness, yes."
Yeah. There's like a showmanship of look what can I do? Look what I can do with my brain. I came up with
Yeah.
that. And
The
I feel like that's
wordplay.
more of that. That's more of that maybe. Do you think there's more of that in the UK humor compared to American?
Yeah, I do find that plenty of British people who aren't even comedians are profoundly good, and the comedians are next level at wordplay. So Americans will joke and will throw some words together. They have this linguistic art of connecting ideas and references and words that is poetic and hilarious at the same time. And I have sometimes it takes a minute to absorb it all. It's so good. And banter is really a thing over here. So I have to tell you, my husband dislocated his knee, and it was
Oh, I'm
terrible. His
sorry.
kneecap was on the other side of his leg.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was in agony.
What did you do, Rebecca?
He was playing soccer. He was playing football.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. That's the story you came up with. Okay. So
Once
so
he
what
got
happened?
into the ambulance, though, he was just laughing with all of the people helping him. They were just talking, like, they say taking the piss. They're taking the piss out of each other, just constantly like, "What's this then? You're fine." Da, 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 da." So quick-witted, and I could laugh, but I couldn't join in because it was too quick.
These were all just strangers.
Yep.
Wow.
After a crazy incident that is the worst pain he's ever been in his life, and he is like, the moment they put it back and they got him in the ambulance, he cracked joke after joke after joke.
That your husband did, and but also the EMTs also were
The
like that.
EMTs, funny, because one of the things that happened was they put it back and he, jerked and kicked him in the head. So they thought that was hilarious, and
That's funny. I didn't know that about. So it was. Is this where? Is this in London? Like, are you in an
we're
extra funny part of UK?
we're about an hour away from London,
So
and
maybe it's extra funny.
I think everyone here has an extra funny bone. They're
Really?
just charming
That's,
people most of the time, like 90% of the time. Clever, charming people.
so the stereotype is that they're serious.
They can be. There are so many stereotypes for this one country, and they're all true.
Yeah,
There are
wonderful.
really serious, dry humor people, and I love that. There are really just, like I think of the Irish with the gift of gab, or in London, it's banter. They got proper good banter, but it's just chat that goes back and forth so quick. And it's really amusing, but it can take a while to get used to.
Yeah. Do you know? Do women do that too?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so you're
I
doing
think,
that too with your peers.
yeah, I feel like I'm slow because I'm not used to it, but there are so many female comedians who are just sharp, and it's delightful. And like some are very serious, some are ready to be goofy, like, the Ministry of Silly Walks shows.
Yeah.
It's like, how far can we take it in every angle?
So Rebecca, are you laughing more in where you live now? If like random strangers just bantering with each other and cracking jokes, are you laughing more here than when you were in Colorado?
Yes.
Yes. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. It's way more standard that if you go to the grocery store or the shop, you run into somebody, the cashier, anybody, if you're talking to somebody and they're British, they're probably gonna have something quick and funny to say.
Oh, that is so interesting to know. Maybe I should travel to your country and observe
Yes.
it.
Yeah. So it's not like Harry Potter. It's not
And
like
it's not like Bridgerton.
No, it's not quite like that. There's nice and less than nice areas, just like any country. But I do think that overall, the sense of humor here, like I haven't met a person without a sense of humor. And I know a good amount in the US without a sense of humor.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. You know what? I think the U.S. is getting a bit too. Well, it's hard to say, but I do feel like people stop being funny when they choose to. I don't know. I think some people just refuse to be funny, and they're like, that's not funny. Like nothing is funny. Like they just want to be mad or outraged that all the time, and they just like, that's not funny because nothing's funny to them. So I'm kind of just like wondering when you say a lot of people in America that are not funny, uh maybe they're really preoccupied with just maybe funny to them doesn't feel good or something. And maybe UK is like longer history, they've been through stuff, they just like, what, just just let's just crack a joke and laugh about it. Do you think that might be part of it?
Yeah, I think it's a general mentality of like, nah, this crap again.
Yeah, we were empire. Man,
Yeah, and I
now
do
you're
think
empire.
a lot of people in the US have sort of like it's almost like been trained into us that if you're the loudest person with a victim mentality, you win. For your ethnicity, your gender, your sexuality, anything. And I think in the UK, if you're the funniest person, you get the last laugh.
Well, I like that because it's just like it's how like roast battles in comedy
Hmm.
works. Is that roast battles is very hard to do in Seattle because people here are really allergic to being offensive in any way
It's
possible. They
scary.
just
Yeah.
like don't want to touch that. So anyway, roast battles is a weird thing to do in Seattle. But I did one, and then it clearly stated in the rules and all that because they need to. Something about how like was a roast battle. So like keep your beef in the battle. If somebody says something to you on stage and the audience is laughing, but you know, just like just say something back. That's just deal with stuff with jokes because we are battling with words, right?
Hmm.
And like don't get mad off stage. Like you use your words and jokes to battle each other on stage. That's what we are agreeing to do. And I think that's kind of a lost art now. You know, because we're all just gonna it's much easier to just get offended. Like I could just pull out my card and say, I'm an immigrant, or you know, and I could just get offended. Or I could just, I don't know, agree to roast each other.
Yeah, I think it is still true that the person who is able to keep rolling and keep joking is the winner. I think that's still actually true, but not everyone thinks that's the game to play. And then,
So do you teach your clients okay, if this is an important part of social interaction in your adopted culture now, if being able to carry out a witty conversation back and forth is so important in where you live, and don't you then have to teach your clients whose first language is not English and culture is different from the culture that now they have to swim in and make jokes about? How do you teach them to be witty? How do you teach them to like do it the British? How do you do that? How do you teach that?
that's such a great question. Well, it does vary. What I know is American culture and somewhat British culture from being over here for several years. And I think the first thing it starts with is kind of what we talked about before of releasing some of the fear and releasing any ideas that this is actually scary because it can feel like you're coming into a situation where I don't fit in, but really you're coming into a situation as you, and that's okay. You're allowed to be you. And a statistic that I learned is there are more people who speak English as a secondary language than there are native speakers. So, don't worry about being a minority. You're the majority. You win. Don't worry about it. You're
Okay.
allowed to show up as you, and that's cool. And then there are different things like improv skills and games to play to practice, like not getting cut off in your mind, in yourself, of like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, I said the wrong verb there. Roll with it. So releasing the fear, like having the courage to step forward, and then building muscle memory through games like improv games and word association games, and then just deciding you don't need to be perfect. You need to connect, and connecting is when you share a laugh. And usually, oh, I like sharing this part. There's also a scale, which I think you know well, of like high risk and low risk humor. So,
Yes, for
like
sure. You tell them about
sarcasm,
that?
Yeah, because I think if you know, you're empowered. If you know, like,
Yeah,
okay, sarcasm, leave it alone at first.
yeah, right,
It's weird. Um, but if you know, self-deprecating humor is a
right.
bonding thing. So swim in that territory and start to play with, ugh, I messed that up. I know it's funny. It's not me who is somehow less than because I misspoke. People who speak English natively mess up how we speak all the time. We
True.
don't use the rules correctly. We don't agree on what the rules are. It's not serious. And if somebody is really serious with you, there's a great phrase which is those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind.
Mm. I think it's really so true. Is you 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 just gotta stop being scared. Like it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
the connection comes from just you trying, and then as long as you get something across, you make a connection, and then it's way better than being perfect with every single word, but then you're so stiff or so scared that you can't connect. Definitely true. And like the funniest people are just you can have like you can say 5 words and you can still be funny. You can
Yes.
act it out. So I think for ESL, really is just being willing to keep saying things and make mistakes, and then you can just improve much faster.
Yes, absolutely. I want to bring it back to what we were just talking about with practicing. So, how do you practice your craft? Like, how do you practice joke writing or um, preparing your sets?
Usually I write, I try to write, and then I will try at open mics. Or I usually now like sneak my new stuff in between my proven stuff so that I make the connection with the audience. You know, I put them at ease in trusting that I will be funny for them. And then if they're with me, then I'm basically I do whatever I want within reasons. As long as I'm having fun, they're having fun. And so sometimes I will try newer stuff. So if it goes well, amazing. But if it doesn't do good, then I have other stuff to like get us back on track. So it's like, hey, we're gonna play now. Let me show you. I can do some jokes, and then we're just gonna play this whole time we have. And I always try to end on really strong material. I wish you could do comedy. I wish you could practice without any humans, but you can't. It just not the game.
Well, that was another question I had is are you using AI to practice your humor in any way?
No,
Well, I don't know. That's what I was wondering if you knew
no.
how.
I
Do you
hate
know how?
AI. I mean, I did use AI. I did have I don't have a therapist anymore. So for a while, I did ask AI all these questions about people and stuff. I since quit using AI because AI just lied to me. AI just makes stuff up and lied to me. So no, and also, I mean, maybe future people can. I actually really like people now. I used to be scared of people, and I really like people now. So I really don't mind. I enjoy practicing my craft in front of people. It just like it's not super efficient sometimes because you gotta drive somewhere and then you gotta do it and then you gotta be supportive to your peers and then so you could spend a whole night 3 hours and then maybe you do you know 5 minute 10 minute 15 20, right? So the efficiency is not high if you look at how much time you get to practice the material itself. Comedy is about people, so it's not just the time I'm on stage. I have close friends now that we just like give each other feedbacks. We talk about our jokes because we can kind of emulate what the audience response is sometimes.
Well, I'm wondering when you do get a heckler, how do you pivot that moment of like that negative feedback?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get heckle a lot, but Basically, it's just crowd work. It's just somebody saying something to me, and then I respond in a moment, right? And people usually don't like hecklers. Audience don't like hecklers. So if they're just they just want say one thing, I could make a decision to tackle them then or let it go. One time I did a mic. I think it was a mic a while ago. I was going to like 2 or 3 mics. So when I got there, the show has been going the mic has been going on for a long time. So I guess somebody was really drunk and was heckling the whole time, and I didn't know. And I got on, and then he heckled, and I just responded something, and then everybody laughed, and that was it. And then he shut up. And then people later thanked me for handling a heckler, and I was just like, I didn't know he was a heckler. I just thought he was a drunk guy who was shouting something, so I shouted something back that seemed appropriate.
Yeah, you diffused the situation.
Yeah, just like I think it's just like any conversation. You just talk to them like real, like regular human beings. And if they're being a terrible person about it, you've been a terrible person, but funnily back to them. But in a very good place, like in reputable venues, the owners or venue staff will deal with disruptive hecklers. That hasn't happened to me. So
Good, I'm glad it's never been too intense. Um, I think I know what you'll say, but do you feel like your humor has helped you to connect to people?
oh yeah, for sure, 100%. 500%, 2000%. Comedy has been the one thing in my life that's the most pro social activity I have embarked on. And it has made me go from, I literally had a hoodie that says, that was a cat, is a hoodie that has a cat on it, just like looking with so much sus. And the cat says, you people. I used to wear that and walk around because it's like, it spoke to me. I just didn't like people. I just didn't like people, but really that was like a fear, like a discomfort. And through doing comedy, I've so much pro social interaction with people. And I realized early on in doing comedy that comedy is about people. Comedy is all about people. So I must get good at people. So it was one goal my last year towards the end. I was like, oh, my goal is to get good at humans. So comedy has completely changed how I interact with people. It's just all about people and I enjoy people now.
And what advice would you give somebody who's practicing English? They're pretty good. They're trying to get a little bit further. Would you give them any advice about English and humor specifically?
Sure. I think they should find something they want to do that's not English, say rock climbing or hiking or something they enjoy doing that they have fun doing. Go do that with a bunch of people who speak English and then they can crack jokes and they can you know, use humor while they're doing something they love.
Yeah, still find your authentic interest.
Yeah. And that's when the English would become not just a subject you're studying, you're actually using it to connect with people while you're doing something you enjoy. And I don't actually know. I know I'm a comedian. I'm supposed to say humor is so important. I don't think you need to be funny. I think you just need to not be a terrible person. I think you just need to enjoy yourself and be nice to people. And funny or not, you're gonna get the most out of English. It's so hard to learn a language. It's so hard to learn your own language, and then it's so hard to learn another language. So might as well get the most out of it, right? Go on
Yes.
dates.
Speed dating, just go through them all.
Just yeah, that sounds stressful. But yeah, just do whatever you want to do in English.
Yeah, just apply your authentic interest into whatever where there's English speaking people.
Yeah. Yeah. If their goal is to get better at English, right?
And do you feel like people like with a Western humor, do you feel like that can be intimidating for someone who English is their second language? Or do you feel like it's more like, hmm, we get it?
humor requires so much shared language and cultural understanding and all the things that it's pretty easy for the jokes to not land if the language is not there. If there's a language barrier, I just think it's okay if you cannot, like, going to a comedy show is a very pinnacle of, you gotta really understand the culture and language to enjoy a local comedy show. So it's totally fine to not find anything funny when you go to a comedy show and you're just learning English because you're not expected to. Like, to be able to crack a joke in your language, imagine how much work that would take for a foreigner to be able to crack a joke in your language. That's a kind of level of in sync, synchronization. So I guess if you are ESL, don't feel bad if you don't get the jokes. It's fine. It's
Yeah, I
not
don't think a
serious.
lot of people expect it. A lot of people understand it's a different ball game. It's and then there's an idiom I'm throwing out of like, what's a ball game have to do with this? It's
Yeah,
hard.
right. Yeah. So don't stress out about being funny. As just use it as a tool. Just use
Yeah.
English as a tool.
It's an excellent tool to start to connect and bond and it's also just a tool. What matters is the authentic person showing up and so much of English language learning is like memorize thing, which is not really letting yourself shine.
It doesn't need to be, Rebecca. If you find like a singer or an actor that you just are obsessed about, then you can learn all the song, you can like memorize all the quotes, and it could be really fun,
Yeah, and
right?
that's making it fun is everything. So, since I have you here, you have endured learning English. I want to do a segment I'm going to call the English Apology Tour.
Yay! A new segment.
English is a convoluted language. We take words from so many different languages. We have rules upon rules that don't all match. And I'm so sorry. Uh, Today, I'm apologizing for a, an, and the. So sorry.
Apology accepted. What exactly are you apologizing for?
It's complicated and it doesn't always add up. It works to use a this time, but not this context. The here, but not here, except for it's kind of common that we say it here, but so there's no real rules, and a lot of it ends up needing to be memorization.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I've given up.
I think that's the
I know
best.
A N, but the whole the versus A, I'm just like, feels okay here. When I wrote thesis, I remember my master's thesis, my advisor had to like constantly just like, there should be a THE here. This should be an A instead. Well, I'm
Yeah,
glad it's behind me. I
that's
don't, none of those matter to me now.
yeah, that's what I mean. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. We all have silly things in our language. Apology accepted. I'm
Thank
glad
you.
that you are self-aware enough.
And I'm glad you're gracious and accept my apology. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been so much fun to talk with you. And now I have to find what I say to go out. Okay.
This is amazing. Yes, yes. Okay, I stand by. I stand by. You just do
I wrote
you do you.
I wrote a whole outro. And Min, where can people stalk you online and find out about your upcoming shows?
uh, they can find me on TikTok, Instagram, on YouTube. Search Min Lin comedy. I have a cute dog, so if you see a person looking like, if you see a cute me with a golden retriever, that's me. If you see
Excellent.
me without a dog, that's probably another Asian guy. So, um, just Min Lin comedy. Yeah. I hope to be able to do comedy for some of you live. That's really where the magic is if I get to meet people live and do
Yes,
comedy.
absolutely. Perform your whole set. I would love to come see you sometime. Sometime when I'm back in the US, I will find where
Yeah,
you
let me
are.
know. Let me know, Rebecca.
And everyone, please go follow Min immediately. And thank you for helping us to bridge the gap today just a little bit more. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. See you next time.